if you're driving across the country at night, you only have to see as far as your headlights. And so you do have to have some directional sense, right? I want to stay on the road. And I know that I'm on the road because on my map it says this is the road from Memphis to New York City or wherever it is I'm going. But I only have to see as far as the headlights. So it can feel like you're lost a lot of the time. And that's okay. I think that's just part of the journey.
I love the one thing because it kind of focuses on the mindset and it teaches us how to think. So for the people who are just starting out, can you give us some more information about how you came about your purpose and at what age you were when you knew exactly what you wanted to do?
Wow. Purpose is like a heavy thing, so I usually talk about it being kind of like, what direction am I going? And I'm not sure, 100% sure I know completely the destination, but I'm pretty clear about the direction I need to be moving at all times. In the beginning, it was about creative work, and I was always happiest when I was doing creative work and solving puzzles, and that led me down the path to a writing career and having a family. Today, if you've been to my classes, you know that kind of what I figured out when I'm most disappointed in myself, that feeling I most want to avoid is losing the respect of my wife and kids. So kind of my true north right now is being the best husband and father I can be. And for whatever reason, that makes me be extremely diligent at work. I don't screw around. Right? I try to live what I preach with my kids. Try to be the best I can be. So I think it's very individual, but I know that's what works for me. The easy way is to look back. I think there's usually clues. I tend to be a little self-aware. I know a lot of us are rushing around. We don't really stop to reflect. There's probably a pattern to the times when you felt the most fulfilled. I'm not talking about happiness, right? Sometimes we're happy at times where we're not necessarily fulfilled. Fulfillment means we're proud of our day's work. It filled us up quite literally. Whatever we did, it might have been really, really hard. I don't know if you were with Keller Williams when we did the work for Hurricane Harvey. We went down there, we mucked out homes. It was some of the hardest physical labor I've ever done. I broke my nose. I was bleeding all over myself. But it was also incredibly fulfilling because we got to go in and volunteer our time. And I think sometimes our life work, being a good husband, being a good father, being really good at my job, those aren't always fun activities. Right? But they're always fulfilling. So if you start paying attention, you can start getting clues and at least eliminate other directions. That's why I like to say direction. I'm moving in the north direction. So south, east, west, those are easy no's for me. But north by northwest, well, maybe that's, and you can kind of wander your way through there. So start asking the question, what's the kind of things, the experiences, relationships, work that truly fulfills me? So, but you don't wait for perfection, right? Don't wait till you're so confident in your mission statement that you're going to get it tattooed on your back. No way. That's way too late, right? But start with a direction and go explore it. And then say, is this right? Because maybe it's wrong. And then you get to move in a new direction. That's the gift it gives you.
I love that. Okay.
Sure. When we talk about the one thing, there's the big picture like we started with, purpose, right? And then kind of the idea of what's my priority today, this hour, this moment. So most of the time we're talking about time blocking. I usually am talking about it in work. If you're a student, it might be around your studies. It's around your primary activity. And you ask, what's the number one thing, by far the first domino, the thing that's going to give me the most of the results I want? Whatever your number one priority is, make an appointment with yourself to do that thing. And we encourage people to do that early in the day, right? Check that off as early as possible when we have willpower to do it. So we already know how to behave. hopefully, when we get our calendar reminder. And if you make those appointments with yourself, then you're making an appointment to do your most important work in whatever it is. And I usually start with one and try to make that a habit, and then you can add on to it. So we call it the principle of the smallest domino. Don't block your whole day. Start with that first hour, right? What's the thing that's going to ignite your day? And just make that the battle. No matter what happens, no matter how hard it rains, whatever, I am going to go run. I'm going to start my day with physical exercise, and that's going to give me the energy I need to succeed at work or whatever I'm doing. Sure. It was weird. We were looking for the right concept to illustrate our point around goal setting to the now, right? And the idea is if I want a big outcome for my life, usually that doesn't happen in a few months or even in a year, right? If you want to be number one in your market, good luck making that happen in your first year in business. But people often behave like things will happen that fast. But if it's going to take me 5 or 6 years, how does that inform how I behave this week? That's really tough. And so we have a whole goal-setting process that we can talk about called goal setting the now. And the principle here is hyperbolic discounting. And this is a really fancy word that basically says the farther in the future a reward is, the less motivation it has over your present. And they've tested this 1,000 times. And the standard test would be, Candice, I'll either give you $1 today or $2 tomorrow. Which would you rather have? Guaranteed either way, $1 today or $2 tomorrow.
Personally, me, I would say $2.
Yeah.
I would say $2.
$2, right? You take double the money. Like, who wouldn't? All right, so here's the crazy thing. I asked the same question. Everything's the same. Guaranteed money, $1 or $2. Today, the only thing we're changing is the time frame. I'll give you $1 today or $2 a year from now.
$1 today.
Right. Okay, so I'll just say, no matter how financially smart you are, that makes no sense at all.
Right.
Show me any investment where you can double your money on an annual basis, and you're already doing 3 times better than Warren Buffett, okay? He averaged 27% over his career. I guess it's now to 21% now. 100% gain? So it makes no sense. But because it's a year away, people don't feel the pull of the bigger reward. Well, in our methodology, right, we use a 411. It's a form. You can download it for free on our website. But you have your annual goals, your monthly goals, your weekly goals.
Right.
And hopefully I've written them in such a way that a stranger could look at my life and know whether I succeeded or not. Did you do it or not? Right? It's not reduce stress. Well, how will I know you reduce stress? It's, did you meditate 5 times this week or not, Jay? Well, I did it 4 times. Well, that's a no then. You didn't make it. So when life happens, for me, maybe a kid's sick, and that's a new priority. I'm going to stay home and be with my kid instead of going to work. I missed a writing day. Well, guess what I have to do next week?
Make up for it.
You make up for it. You just recapture it. Instead of just saying, oh, that was a bad week, I only meditated 4 times instead of 5 times. Well, next week I'm going to meditate 6 times instead of 5 times. And maybe that's a bad example because meditating an extra 10 minutes may not make the difference. But if you're making sales calls or doing other things that are more connected to it, it often can be. So I usually tell people when life happens, you need to replace that time, right? I'm going to steal from my one thing. I'm going to steal from a lesser priority and get that time back so I'm at least on track. If I'm distracted, I don't know. I usually create consequences. I have a coach. That's one of the reasons I stay focused is, one, and my partner, Gary Keller, sees my goals every month and knows my progress. I really don't want to send that document to him that has made no progress.
Right.
And my job is supposed to be a husband, not a coach. But the act of knowing, hey, we're checking in, how are you doing on this? I don't want to show up empty-handed. So you can create systems in your life that bring accountability. Well, first off, I would say everyone has resources.
Okay.
They have time and they have some ability of some kind.
Okay.
So never ever talk to yourself like you don't have resources.
Right.
We may not have been born with a silver spoon in our mouth, okay? But in my experience, that is not conducive to keeping wealth. You may start with it, but you probably won't appreciate it the way someone who had to work for it.
True.
So there's gifts in everything, I promise you. When we wrote The Millionaire Real Estate Investor in 2005, in the opening we defined wealth as having the financial wealth, as having the passive income to finance your life mission without having to work. Because at the end of the day, paper value and all that's great, but you need cash flow to live on. And for us, it was about, we called it our Go to Heck Fund. Didn't call it that polite word, but I don't know if this is a PG-13 or a rated R podcast, right? But I never wanted, and I didn't know who I was working with yet, I never wanted to work for someone who would say, hey, I need you in the office today. No, it's my son's first soccer game, I'm the coach. No, I need you in the office today. I wanted to be able to say, then I'm not coming to the office. Because I wanted to always live my priorities, not let anyone else. That to me is what financial wealth means. You have to figure out, why do you want it? Why is it important for you? Just getting out of the pain of not knowing you can pay for it when you get to the checkout at Target, that's a good start, but it's not big enough. What is it going to do for you to be free from anxiety around money? And it's not about sailboats and tigers on a leash. It's not about that. It's about, right, bigger things: security, freedom, confidence. If you grew up in a household where the ends didn't always meet, being able to provide for the people you love, it really matters. So get in touch with that and then develop some really simple, it's not complicated. You have to first learn to live on less than you earn. Simple in concept, hard in practice. And there are lots and lots of ways to go out and learn that. And then my wife and I just tracked one number, our net worth. Every single month we would add up everything we owned and then subtract everything we owed and watch that number grow. We set goals around it, we tracked it, and we had a plan for making it grow. And that's been our one singular battle. I think perspective, right? Your mindset, your perspective matters a lot.
Right.
And it's more than just, is the glass half empty or half full. I think, having a positive mindset is super helpful. How we talk to ourselves along the way is really important. If you're telling yourself you're stupid, that's really, I wouldn't let you talk to my kids that way, but we talk to ourselves that way. We're really hard on ourselves, right? It's not about recklessness. It's about seeing possibilities. In business, I've learned, if you ask a lawyer, can I do this? They're almost always going to say no. The right way to ask a lawyer whether you want to start some new venture is, how do I responsibly do this? It's a very different question, right? So the frame we put on things matters. So we step out the door, and it's, how can I be a better person than I was yesterday? I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to screw up. That's what success looks like. But can I learn from my failures? Can I at least make progress this year? Progress over perfection every single time, right? We're all evolving, and you're either growing or you're shrinking, but it's always evolving. So just make a commitment, failure and all, to always be growing. And a lot of good things, you'll be surprised. You want it to happen in a year, but you'll be surprised at how much you will accomplish in 5. It sounds like forever, but I promise you it's a blink of an eye.
Thank you so much again for this. It means the world. It really does mean the world, and I'm so thankful to have you on this channel and to share this information with everyone else. So thank you again.
Thanks for having me.